These 6 men cracked the resilience code 3,000 years ago, and their strategies are exactly what you need today. While we're struggling with modern challenges, these ancient leaders already figured out the blueprint for bouncing back from anything life throws at you. Number 6, Nehemiah. This guy was living comfortably in a foreign palace when he heard his homeland was destroyed. Instead of staying safe, he asked the king for permission to go rebuild Jerusalem. But here's the thing, when he got there, enemies surrounded the city, threatening to attack anyone who tried to rebuild. Most people would have given up, but Nehemiah had a strategy. He prayed with one hand and worked with the other. Half his men stood guard, while the other half built the wall. They finished the impossible task in just 52 days. The lesson? When rebuilding your life after devastation, pray for strength but never stop taking action. Faith without work is just wishful thinking. Number 5, Joseph. Talk about a rough start. This 17-year-old had dreams that his family would bow down to him. His jealous brothers decided to fix that problem by selling him into slavery. Can you imagine? Your own family betrays you for money. Then it got worse. He worked his way up in his master's house, only to be falsely accused of assault and thrown in prison. Years passed. He was forgotten by everyone. But here's what's incredible about Joseph. He used every setback as preparation for his comeback. In prison, he interpreted dreams. That skill eventually got him promoted to second in command of the entire Egyptian empire. When his brothers showed up begging for food during a famine, he could have destroyed them. Instead, he said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." The lesson? When life betrays you, don't ask why me. Ask, how is this preparing me for what's coming next? Number 4, Daniel. Picture this. You're the best employee at your company. You do excellent work. You're respected. You're up for a major promotion. Then your coworkers get jealous and convince the CEO to create a new policy. Anyone caught praying to anyone except the CEO will be fired and blacklisted from the industry forever. This was Daniel's reality, except instead of being fired, the punishment was death by lion. Daniel faced the ultimate workplace pressure. Compromise your core values or lose everything, including your life. Most of us would rationalize it. We'd say, well, I can pray in private. I'll just keep my head down for a while until this blows over. Not Daniel. He opened his windows toward Jerusalem and prayed 3 times a day, just like he always had. They threw him to the lions, and God shut their mouths. The lesson? Your values aren't negotiable, even when everything's on the line. Integrity might cost you in the short term, but compromise will cost you everything in the long term. Number 3, David. Everyone remembers the giant story, but let's talk about what really happened. The Israelite army had been paralyzed for 40 days. Every morning, this 9-foot warrior named Goliath would come out and challenge anyone to fight him. Grown soldiers, trained warriors, battle-tested veterans, all cowered in fear. Then this teenager shows up to bring lunch to his brothers and asks the question that changed everything. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? While everyone else saw an insurmountable problem, David saw an incredible opportunity. He didn't just run at the giant with blind courage. He chose his weapon carefully. 5 smooth stones, 1 sling, perfect aim. Giant down. But David's resilience didn't stop there. King Saul spent years trying to kill him. David lived in caves, was betrayed by friends, hunted like an animal. Yet he never gave up and eventually became the greatest king in Israel's history. The lesson? Face your giants with strategy, not just courage. Sometimes the thing that terrifies everyone else is actually your biggest opportunity. Number 2, Job. This man had everything. Successful business, loving family, perfect health, respected in his community. Then in one day, everything was gone. Enemies stole his livestock and killed his workers. A tornado killed all 10 of his children. He broke out in painful sores from head to toe. His wife told him to just curse God and die. His friends accused him of secret sin and said he deserved what happened. Job had every reason to give up, to become bitter, to blame God. Instead, he said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. Even if God kills me, I'll still believe he's good." That's not denial, that's not toxic positivity, that's supernatural resilience. And here's the incredible part. Job's comeback was double everything he lost. Twice the livestock, twice the wealth, 10 more children. and he lived 140 more years. The lesson? Sometimes you have to lose everything to gain everything better. Your setback might be the setup for your greatest comeback. Number 1, Moses. This guy went from prince to fugitive to liberator. Raised in Pharaoh's palace, he had wealth, education, and power. Then he killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave and had to flee for his life. He spent 40 years as a shepherd in the desert, thinking his life was over. But God met him at a burning bush and said, "I want you to go back and demand that Pharaoh let my people go." Moses had every excuse. "I'm not qualified. I can't speak well. They won't listen to me. I'm too old." God said, "I'll be with you." What happened next was the greatest rescue mission in history. 10 plagues brought Egypt to its knees. The Red Sea parted. 2 million slaves walked to freedom. But then came 40 years in the wilderness. People complained constantly. They wanted to go back to slavery. They rebelled against his leadership. Moses had to deal with their whining, their fear, their lack of faith every single day for 4 decades. Yet he never abandoned them. He interceded for them when God wanted to destroy them. He guided them, fed them, protected them until they reached the promised land. The lesson? True resilience isn't just about surviving your own wilderness. It's about helping others find their way while you're still finding yours. Here's what all 6 of these heroes had in common. They didn't just endure hardship, they were transformed by it. They didn't just survive, they became stronger. They didn't just overcome obstacles, they used obstacles as stepping stones to their destiny. Every single one of them faced moments where quitting would have been easier than continuing. But they chose to keep going when it made no sense to keep going. Nehemiah could have stayed comfortable in the palace. Joseph could have become bitter in prison. Daniel could have compromised to save his life. David could have given up in the caves. Job could have cursed God after losing everything. Moses could have stayed in the desert tending sheep. But they didn't. They chose resilience over resignation. They chose faith over fear. They chose to believe that their story wasn't over, even when everything looked hopeless. The same power that sustained them is available to you today. The same God who shut the lions' mouths, parted the Red Sea, and brought Job back from nothing is the same God who's with you in your struggle right now. Your current chapter is not your final chapter. Your setback is not your comeback. Your giant is not your end. It's your opportunity. Which hero's strategy do you need most? Are you in a rebuilding season like Nehemiah? Are you dealing with betrayal like Joseph? Are you facing pressure to compromise like Daniel? Are you staring at an impossible situation like David? Have you lost everything like Job? Are you called to lead others while you're still struggling yourself like Moses? Whatever you're facing, you're not alone. These ancient heroes walked this path before you, and they're showing you the way forward. Comment below and tell me which story resonates most with your current situation. And don't forget to follow for more ancient wisdom that transforms modern life, because your breakthrough might be just one Bible story away.